Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that's gotten kind of concerning out there, and a lot of expats are going through what I'm about to talk about. Okay, in different ways or shapes. It's happening to a lot of expats out there. It's not all expats. Some expats get into really good Filipino families, and there's wonderful Filipino families out there for if you search them out. And I want to talk about this because this is so key. When you run into a girl over here, if the family is harassing you for money or bugging you for money in the beginning, it's time to leave. Because there's families out there that don't bug you for money, and I'm lucky enough that I have a girlfriend that doesn't ask me for money, doesn't hound me for money. Her family doesn't hound me for money. I don't have any concerns like that. And that's the type of family you want to be in, that you don't have any worries or concerns. The family's working. They're good people. They're not going to harass you. And guys, have a long relationship before you run into the chapel to get married or whatever, if that's what your plan is, or to live with the girl. Be careful, because if you live with a girl for so long, after a while you're gonna technically be married to her, whether you like it or not. Because that happens over here too. If you live with somebody for a certain amount of time, after a while it's considered a marriage. So what I'm about to talk about here today is something so vile and so terrible that it's disgusting. I find this really, really disgusting, what's going on here with some of the crap that is going on with some veterans and some expats over here. There's a lot of expats that are in the Philippines, okay, that have mental health issues, anxiety, hidden disabilities. And a lot of us have that, and we try to push through it, and we try to keep on keeping on. And a lot of people don't understand hidden disabilities. They think you have to have a leg missing or something like that. And some uneducated families in the Philippines, when they see that you're getting anything, disability money or what have you, or SSDI, VA, maybe you're getting disability from a job or something like that. But especially the people that are the hidden disabilities. This goes out to you. There's families over here that once they pick up, and a lot of people can pick up on people that have anxiety and worry about things a lot. And they use that to extort money from them. And some of these families are using relatives' names, and I don't know if the relatives are involved or not. Seems like some of them are in some cases, and some of them aren't in some cases. What happens is they'll have somebody in BI, or they'll have somebody, a government official, or supposedly who works in the government, and they'll say, I'm going to have you kicked out of the Philippines, okay? First of all, it's very difficult to get somebody kicked out of the Philippines. And what you do is, as soon as somebody threatens that, go into an attorney's office and have them write out a cease and desist order and have them ship it to the place where that person works with their name and everything, okay? And make sure it stops. It might cost you 2,500 pesos, 3,000 pesos to have it stop. That's it. All you have to do is have a cease and desist order sent out. You need to get an attorney on this stuff. Attorneys are not expensive in the Philippines. In fact, they're quite reasonable. It's not like in the United States where you get gouged and get gouged again and get gouged even more. I'm sure there are attorneys around here that are like that, but I'm saying that the majority of attorneys, at least 55, 60% of them are probably decent people. I don't know about the rest. I can't speak. I'm just saying I know in the United States, probably about 40 to 50% of the attorneys back in the United States can be kind of rough, and that's just the way it is. It's just the way. You could say that about people in general too, and like this story goes. But what families are doing is they're going after these people, and they're threatening these guys that have anxiety or mental health issues or PTSD or whatever. And the guys go into an anxiety attack, and they start calling up. Some of them call me and they start telling me all their issues, and I got enough anxiety on my own without having to have more anxiety on me, and I've gone through stuff like this before. I know what it's like. I've gone through it a few times, and it's something that it really wears on you. And I finally figured out like a way to take care of this for most guys is to get the attorney on board as soon as it starts happening, and maybe have somebody to talk it out with every day, so you can take your anxiety down to a different level. And this is something really rotten. It's not just in the Philippines. It takes place in Thailand. It takes place in Japan, Guam, the United States, and there's people all over the place. But it tends to happen a little bit more in countries that are poverty stricken, that they want money, and they look at the person that has income coming in like they're supposed to be the money stream for the family or what have you. And they tend to, and this is one reason why a lot of guys should stay away from poverty-stricken families that are really, really poverty-stricken out in the provinces, and that are bad. There's good families out in the provinces, and there's bad families out in the provinces. Okay, so I'm not painting all people that are poor as bad. There's some wonderful poor people in the Philippines. There's wonderful middle class, and there's wonderful wealthy people. But I want to put it out there that when you get into a family that hounds you for money, that's when it's time to run. I had a big branch or something fall. Oh, it was a mango. Okay. It's not felt like a rock coming down on my head the way it hit the ceiling here. But anyway, be careful out there, guys, getting involved with girls. I see guys coming over here, and 3 weeks after they get here, they're getting married. They've only talked to the girl on the phone for maybe 1 or 2 years, sometimes 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or whatever. And then the next thing you know, they're getting married over here. They don't really know the girl. They don't know the girl's family, except when the family pokes their head on the screen and says, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's it. And what happens is those are usually the places where this type of stuff starts, where once the guy gets the ring on that girl's finger, the family starts hitting them up for money, or hitting the girl and telling the girl, "Hey, when you're going shopping or something like that, just grab 40 off of us for us and send it to us," or whatever. I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen firsthand. I've had it happen to me in the past. I know how this stuff happens. It can happen whether they're Filipino or not, but it's kind of something that happens a lot more over here, and you hear it every day over here. You hear it almost every single day. You hear it on YouTube, on here. But the ones that are using people in the government or names in the government, dropping names or something, they may not even have anybody that works in the government. It may just be a scare tactic or whatever. That's what you got to be careful of. And if you can get the name of the person, or if you know the name of the person, you know where they work, if it is an actual person, then get a cease and desist order on that person immediately. In some of these cases, the wife is not the issue. It's just the family. The wife might be a wonderful person, might be a great person, might not be. But usually they validate what's going on in the family. They're afraid to talk to their family. They're afraid to talk to their family about the issue at hand, because their happiness is being taken away by that family. But a lot of the people over here are kind of meek, quiet. They don't want to say too much. They're kind of afraid. And a lot of these people also know that their husband or boyfriend has mental health issues. And when they have those type of mental health issues, they need love and kindness and care from the family, and not this type of stuff that's going on. Because I've talked to several people that have gone through stuff like this over here, since being over here and since starting this channel. And one of them I've talked to for at least a year now. And I'll say this, that the stuff that this poor guy has to go through is terrible. And I've gone through it. We've had other guys go through it over here. Some guys make it through unscathed and okay. Other guys, they get damaged by somebody that's vindictive and tries to do something to them. Some of them get blackballed or whatever, and some of them run back to the US and say, "Forget it, I'm just going to cut my losses and leave." And it's kind of sad that we come over here for happiness and for peace and to get away from it all and to live the rest of our lives with some woman, and then suddenly, here we are, we're back in the same hell that we were back in the US, with issues back there between the government and the issues that we had back there with with American women, and I'm not putting all American women down, so don't get me wrong. I don't want to put down, I'm not stereotyping all women. I'm saying the women that these guys ran into, and when they come over here and they run into it again, and sometimes it's the guy's fault too, because some guys won't stand up for their rights, and guys that have anxiety can tend to kind of back off a little bit because they don't want to have issues in their life. And what happens is when they back off, they're actually allowing these people to cross over these boundaries that they set, or they didn't set, I should say. And they run them over. They run all over them. And these people just keep, if you don't set dead clear boundaries with your family and her family, you're going to get walked on and crapped on like there's no tomorrow. And that is a huge issue over here. And I want you guys to put in your 2 cents worth. If you've seen this or if you've heard other people in the Philippines, I'm sure you have, but I want the new guys to see that this stuff does happen over here. So if it's happened to you, if you've seen this stuff or you've seen other guys go through it, put it in the comments, because I want the guys back home that are thinking about coming over here or are over here now looking for a girlfriend to know that you got to be more careful than what you are. Most guys come over here and it's like shields down. I'm wide open now. Okay, I'm going out to look for a girl. Shields down. It's like in Star Trek, shields up. It's shields down over here, and they leave themselves wide open to this type of crap. And I don't want to see any of you guys go through it. It probably will happen to you at least once while you're here, because a lot of us, the first time you meet a girl over here and you're gaga over that girl and stuff like that, and you think everything's going to be fine and dandy, she's a nice girl and all this stuff. Of course she's a nice girl, because she's going to cover up the way she really is until you get a ring on that girl's finger or you've lived with her for a while. And you really need to get to know what the family's like. That's key. That's the key right there. You really need to know what the family is like. And be careful, guys. That's the best advice that anybody over here can give you, is to be careful and shields up all the time. Set those boundaries. Have those boundaries. Those boundaries are the most important thing for any new expat over here. Set boundaries with all people, and both neighbors, friends, other expats. Don't let people cross your boundaries. The second somebody gets close to crossing your boundary, say, hey, I don't tolerate that. So don't do that. Family starts asking you for money, usually that's a sign that it's time to run. And I mean that sincerely. In most cases, if a family's hitting you up for money and they start hitting you up for money over and over and over again, run. Because they're probably going to be asking you after you stick a ring on that girl's finger. Even more so, because then they figure they got you. And then they'll start using her, and they'll start asking her for money. Because she's married to you, they figure she can siphon it off that end. Not all girls are like that. And I don't want to paint all girls in the Philippines like that, because not all Filipinos are like that. They're just not. Most Filipinos are good, decent people over here. A lot of guys are in happy relationships over here. I have a group of about 260 guys that we have on our roster. There's 260 guys and girls on our roster. And on that roster, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 have problems at any given time with the families or whatever. That's a pretty good amount. It's enough that's kind of scares you, because if they're having problems, then probably other people have had problems in the past or whatever, or they're just plain lucky. I think everybody sees this at some point. People come over here and they think, well, is the divorce rate high over here? Is it 50% of people go through divorce like back in the United States? I don't know. I don't know what the divorce rate over here is with expats. Do I think it's 50%? Probably not. If you take them back to the States, I'd say it's probably the same as in the United States or worse. That's just my thoughts on this, because I've seen people. I've had a whole bunch of friends that were married to Filipinos, and they're all divorced now. Every single one of them. So that'll tell you something right there. And they all took them back to the U.S. The people that are over here that are married, most of them stay together. But every so often I do see a divorce over here too. And it's usually because of threats, coercion, blackmail, light coercion, bad coercion, you know, like I said, blackmail, all that stuff. And it happens, and it's from mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, family members, cousins, whatever, you know. And they have these expats going absolutely crazy. Well, what do I do? I'm in a foreign country. You know, that's when you hire an attorney. Don't think that you're going to get through this on your own, and don't think that you're alone. Hire an attorney. Attorneys aren't that expensive over here. If you need an attorney, we have an attorney here at the channel. We have a great attorney. I can't mention her name, but if you guys ever need it, you can email me at steven5975@yahoo.com, and I'll give you that attorney's name. No issues, you know. And she's reasonable and she's cheap, you know, compared to $200 to $300 to $400 to $500 an hour back in the U.S. for an attorney that most people can't afford. Attorneys over here are very reasonable. But anyway, guys, God bless, take care, and watch out there. That's the best advice I can give you. Watch out there, and keep shields up, and keep those boundaries. Good fences make good neighbors. Remember that. Always set boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you and crap all over you just because you're an expat, just because you have an anxiety, mental health issue, or whatever, PTSD. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope that helps you guys. God bless.